Hello, time travelers. Welcome to V.I.C.E. I am Tanya, aka TanyaLashea, and I'll be your GM for this short campaign where we play a wild game of space adventure and intrigue in the far, far future. Players are CaptainZiggy, NotQuiteNormal, and Kepeski, and you follow this crew of paranormal investigators as they travel a solar system called Syndara in a high-octane fantasy sci-fi where time is money and life is short. Enjoy the journey.
My character is about to have a heart attack.
Yes, you are. That was hilarious. Okay. Which is last you guys left off, you were right in front of the entrance to this secret lab, or so you have been told by the daughter of your first Mark, I guess we could call him, who told you all of this last night. So what happened was Raiko decided to try to charm the two guards, which actually worked pretty well. I think one of them was like healing you or like bandaging a wound, and then the other one was just kind of like chatting with you because he was a big fan. So he found out that apparently you're like now some revolutionary hero because of future Twitter. And then as that was all happening, you kind of gave like the signal, and so Avery was making his way to do some sort of an ambush if it was called upon. So he's actually perched right on top of the entrance where nobody can really see him unless the two guards and Raiko like look up. Like you're just it's like a big old hovel. So you're like literally on top of the door entrance, which has an overhang. And poor Sam is having a bit of a breakdown as he's wandering around looking for the little girl that disappeared all of a sudden while he was the only person that was really watching her, who up until now you guys were referring to as CK. And when the mysterious woman who one of the guards was originally on the CV with, he was like on the radio with, asking for a first aid kit, you see this scientist or doctor, you're not really sure yet, but you see this woman who had just opened up the door and called Claire, and she's holding a first aid kit. And you guys kind of also can kind of see and hear Sam having a bit of a moment way in the background. And CK, who was supposed to be hidden and being watched, is also standing right next to Raiko and the two guards. So that's where everyone is located and what the scene looks like. And that's what we closed on. So before we kind of continue forward, I'm going to ask Sam. You were kind of wandering in the background a bit, looking for CK, basically like calling her name. And so I'm going to say that you kind of make your way around. So you're like looking for her, and then you're making your way back around towards the entrance. So at some point, you are going to come back around and actually see this scene. Avery, you are above everybody, and you know in about like 2 seconds, once everyone kind of realizes what's going on with the woman there and CK there, they're eventually going to look up and just see you. You're not hidden. There's no hiding spot on top of the roof. You were just hoping that the two guards would be completely distracted. And then Raiko, you obviously see CK standing like right next to you, the two guards, and then directly in front of you, you see this new woman who you guys don't know the name of yet. And I will say that probably since you know your teammates very well, you also already see Avery pretty open on like crouched on top of the roof. So we will literally pick up right where this woman, she looks Asian. She is fairly short and thin. She's wearing a white lab coat, and she holds a little small kit in her hand, which you assume is a first aid kit. She has jet black hair that's in a low ponytail, and she has glasses on. And she opens the door, sees the scene of Raiko and the two guards, but is more interested in the little girl that's now standing right next to you. And she looks surprised, but she simply says, Claire? And what are we doing in this moment?
I know for Raiko, he pauses for a second, then quickly gets down, kind of not kneels down, but crouches down so that he's more eye level with Claire. And then he's just like, wait, your name is Claire?
As the woman now is kind of stepping out, she is gonna first talk to the two guards, and she's just gonna say, "What's going on here?" And while that's happening, at this point, Sam, you are coming back around, yelling for CK, and you're gonna be able to see the scene in front of you, which is Raiko from the back, two armed guards from the back, and then CK standing next to them. And I'm gonna say from your distance, you may be able to see a speck on the roof. That's Avery. And then Raiko, as you lean down to talk to CK, Avery, you now catch the eyes of the two guards. So all of this is happening simultaneously. So we will have Raiko go down to talk to Claire. We'll have the scientist woman talk to the two guards. The two guards look at her, immediately look up and see Avery. And so I want to know what your reaction is, Avery. And then Sam, you were coming back from your area calling out the CK in the far distance, and you're seeing Raiko and the two guards and CK. So Sam and Avery, how are you two reacting?
When you look and see your cat in the middle of the night and you just see two big eyes staring at you and the cat's not moving? That's basically what Avery is right now.
Okay.
Just on top of the roof, staring into the soul of the guards.
Okay. Sam?
When Sam runs around and finally sees CK standing there, it's like, CK, what are you doing? I was supposed to keep watch on you.
Perfect. So this scene it's gonna kind of implode very quickly here as the woman hears Sam yelling this towards you guys as he's walking up. The two guards, now no longer as friendly, they're gonna both put up their weapons to Avery, who's just kind of staring at them, blindsided. And this woman has no idea what's going on, and she's just kind of like, okay. While all of that is happening, Raiko, as you look at CK and she looks at you, she doesn't speak, of course, but she says in your mind, I've been called that.
Often or once in a blue moon?
The woman is now walking out towards you, and the guards are basically asking Avery to come down or telling him to come down with their weapons. So I think that's what's happening around you. And she goes, I prefer CK.
Fair enough. Care to play along?
About the time you wrap up.
Oh, go ahead.
So you're not able to continue your conversation because at this point, the guard that was next to you, healing you, is going to essentially grab you to stand you back up as the other guard yells at Avery to get down, and both of them are now ready to rumble if anyone moves the wrong way as Sam approaches. So Avery, what are you doing as both of these guards are looking at you and being like, come down from there?
I'm looking at Raiko for guidance if I should kill or have plans changed.
DM, permission to do something reckless?
Permission not granted. You can do it anyway.
Oh no.
No, it's simple. I'll think to CK, play along for a moment, and then as I'm being pulled up, I'll grab a hold of her shoulder and pull my pistol out and put it to her back, calling out to everyone, at ease, gentlemen, this can go civilly.
Oh. Okay. Love that. All right. So you pull out your pistol and you are aiming it at CK.
Yes.
What the
Okay. As this is all happening very quickly, the frazzled Sam is coming up behind you, and Sam, you see this happen.
So I just see Raiko aim the gun at CK, but I haven't heard what he said.
Not yet.
Raiko, what the fuck are you doing? You seriously not gonna shoot her, are you?
And Avery?
I'm pulling out my sword.
Okay. So we have essentially a standoff. The two guards are at arms. Raiko is at arms, pointing towards CK. Sam is coming up completely bewildered, and Avery is now brandishing his weapon. I am going to roll for this random scientist that's come out to essentially see if intelligence, to basically see if she thinks you're going to shoot. Okay. Yeah, she immediately kind of freaks out. She doesn't know who you guys are, but she knows CK. She sees the gun pointed to CK. So she just immediately drops the first aid kit and puts her hands up and looks at the two guards. Okay. We don't know what's going on, but let's everyone just relax. And the two guards still have their guns up, but they don't know exactly what to do. So like one of them is now pointing at Sam, the other one is now pointing at Avery, but they're also like moving away from Raiko because he has a gun to CK. So right now there's just high tension. So what is everybody doing now?
Waiting for the mastermind to enact his plan, a total plan, and not just flying by the seats of our pants.
Raiko, because I haven't specced into actual telepathy yet, is going to shoot a question over to Sam. Can you remain calm for just a little bit longer?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if Sam has had that message in his head from anyone other than CK before, so I don't think it would calm him down. Honestly, if anything, this might just be the last part where Sam just starts to slowly pass out a bit. Ugh.
Well, let's see how you're holding on. Let me have you make a mental save since you're going through a lot right now.
2d6.
I believe the saves are 1. Yeah, D20 for saving throws.
Hey, 19.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, you're having a rough time. You're having a rough time, 100%. But once you hear Raiko's voice, at least, even though you know it's in your head, you do start to just slowly calm down. You're not quite understanding the scene, but you know Raiko somehow has things under control. So you do begin to kind of breathe through it as you finally walk up on everyone, and you are now where do you want to be? So you have Raiko, and he's flanked by two guards, and then PK is right next to Raiko.
I think I would try to position myself in an angle where I'm right next to Raiko, so I can like point the gun at the guards without being too close to CK.
All right. You come up and you hear Raiko's voice in your head, and it calms.
Yeah, right now he's just sweating bullets and taking really deep breaths.
Raiko, after you say that, you're still just standing there with the woman with her hands up. So she's just gonna ask, I mean, what do you guys want? Like, what are you doing here?
Well, ma'am, we heard some wonderful rumors about your facility, and we thought we'd pay it a visit. You may have heard of me, Raiko Yagan, former vice member and new revolutionary.
She kind of looks at you. You don't even have to roll. It's very clear she doesn't know who you are. She just kind of shakes her head. All right, I kind of heard of Vice. I don't know there was a revolution going on, but we don't have a lot of really good service here, so I'm not on the gram or what you're calling.
I believe they call it the ... but I'm not sure.
Of course they would.
I'd love to resolve this civilly. I'm sure you gentlemen here don't want to discharge rifles near a child.
As you say that, they start to back away further from you. You get the sense that these guards were chilling before, like they were relaxing. They weren't that interested in getting into combat, but they are trained. So you can kind of tell that as they get further and further away, just kind of stepping away, that if they were given the okay, they would still try to destroy whoever was considered an enemy. But they are kind of backing away, still holding up their weapons in case something happens. But at the moment, they are listening to this science. And she kind of just looks at everyone. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I don't know even how you know of this facility, but my name is Dr. Curry. I came with a first aid kit. I don't know what's going on. What do you want from us? We're a lab. We don't have any money if that's what.
This wouldn't be about money. Not today. How do you know Claire here?
She looks at CK and CK says nothing, and she this Dr. Curry looks back at you and kind of says, "How do you know Claire?"
That's a long story. Care to tell it inside? It's awfully cold out here.
She sort of sighs and looks around, kind of seeing that she doesn't really have a choice. And she opens the door, waits for you guys to walk in.
Come down, Avery. Take charge of CK here, please.
I'll jump off the roof and yeah.
I will think of it as CK. Just thank you. Please keep playing along. You're doing well.
Riker, you really need to be a little more clear with your plans next time. I'm not in my current profession exactly.
Sam, pull it together. You're a professional.
I'm a salesman, not whatever this is. Ugh.
You three, followed by CK because she's kind of in front of you, walk into the this kind of main corridor, followed by Dr. Curry,
Well, sell
who
yourself for
closes the door
something.
behind you
Swing
guys.
out.
The two
Don't
guards
worry.
do not come in.
Everything's
They're
in hand.
outside. And so it's just you guys and Dr. Curry. She closes the door, and you're kind of in this little in-between space where there's two doors. So there's the outside door, and then there's like this little space, and then there's another door that she opens, card, and you guys walk inside. As you walk into this like huge, what you would assume is some sort of like domed, like underground facility, it looks more like a sterile hospital. Like all of the walls are white, the floor is white and shining, everything looks immaculately clean, and you can kind of hear buzzing noises, which you can assume as you kind of look into this corridor and you all walk inside and the second door closes behind you. You can assume that the noises you're hearing as you kind of see a small little bot kind of moving across the walls, you can kind of see that they have cleaning machinery that constantly cleans. And you are all essentially walking down a very long hallway that leads to a set of glass doors that is another corridor. And she's sort of walking with you. I'm still not sure exactly what you're looking for. We don't have anything here except for, I don't know, cells and tubes and strange liquids that you probably wouldn't even know what to do with.
If you meet the right person, you can still make some money off of it.
So you are stealing from us.
Don't listen to him. He doesn't know anything.
What? No. No, I mean, in legal
You guys get to
acquisition,
the
if
end of the
possible.
hallway, and it's
Just a
a
side
glass
thing.
corridor. And you
Really?
don't see anything where she needs to press, but you do see that there is a very thin glass that's directly in front of you all. And she goes over to the wall and puts her key card up to the wall. There is no indicator that there's something there. It's clearly hidden in the wall. But she puts the key card up, and the glass, this huge glass wall that spans the entire hallway, kind of cracks in half essentially and begins to. And she walks. Even if you did try to sell these things, I mean, this machinery isn't like you can't just like take it. You know what I mean? Like it's bolted to the ground and it's been installed. Do you even know how to unhook any of this?
No.
If we are being honest, I kind of forgot why we are here.
she sort of raises an eyebrow at you, Avery, like, what? Okay. Before we go any further, what is going on? And she Kind of looks directly at you, Raiko, since you seem to be the one with the answer.
Dr. Curry, let me answer your question with a question. Do you care for Claire here?
You see her eyes kind of dart between you and CK, and her eyebrows furrow. And she goes, "What does that even mean? What do you mean? Do I care for her? What do you how?" She seems very confused, but also a little flustered. But also seems to be avoiding answering your question. You can either make a check, or you can do something.
Ooh, surface thoughts. What can I see?
I think the very first thing you're kind of picking up on is she's like, "What are?" Okay, first of all, this is really weird. I don't even know these people. These people clearly, I don't think they actually know what this child is. How am I supposed to answer such a complicated question? Essentially, is what you're getting from, and that's why she's kind of fumbling over her words.
Then psychically, I'll drive a question home using. I get to force a question, and I'll ask specifically, what is CK?
As soon as you ask that question, you hear in her mind, "I'm just going to run for it." And she turns around and bolts in the direction you guys were walking.
In the direction we are walking. Well then, Avery, get her.
I'm going to get her.
Okay. What do you want to do? She's not running particularly fast. She's running like normal scientist speed. And I will say, before you get too excited, she is a normal scientist.
I'm just gonna. I was told to get her, not end her. I'll just run her down and use my considerable weight to stop her movement.
Okay, then the first thing you're wanting to do is run her down. So I'm going to have you do a skill check of Dex. And it's basically just going to be against her evasion. She's going to try to evade you. So her evasion is 14. So roll your Dex.
This is gonna be a womp womp moment because we're Team Broken Bones.
See how quick she is.
2d6.
Yes.
Womp womp. Snake eye.
Wow. Yeah. So so you run after her, but she clearly knows this place better than you do. So just like before when you guys came up against that clear wall that was made of glass that she had to open, she was able to get enough head start where she gets to another glass, and she does the same thing when she's able to open it, and it opens and then closes behind her. Therefore, you are trapped behind glass as she continues to run. As she kind of keeps running down the corridor, and then you see her take a sharp left down the corridor where it kind of tees to two offshoots, you all kind of hear a click, click, click sound as the walls on either side of you begin to open. However, you can hear over, it's not really an intercom, but you can kind of hear this like an echo of someone talking. But it's clearly the woman, Dr. Curry, and she's essentially like speaking to someone, but she's not speaking to you guys. You'll see what she's speaking to in a moment. But she essentially is speaking to someone, and she goes, "Don't hurt the girl." And as she says that, and as you hear those clicking sounds, you also hear a low growl as if I'm going to say they're kind of hyena-like animals, canine in nature, but really big, sharp claws that dig into the almost shiny marble of the floor. And there are 3 of them coming your direction. They're about medium size. So big enough to hurt you, but not too big. What are we doing?
Fighting.
Okay.
Well, can I see Avery, or is he out of sight? Is it just me and Sam and CK?
Avery is directly in front of you, but he's a little further out. So like you guys are all on this side of the glass, essentially.
Okay. All right, Avery, you're off your leash.
I'm just gonna gun for the nearest one and try and stab it.
Okay, it sounds like we're now. Are we all doing something, or are you just asking Avery to try to take out one of them?
I'll pull out the shotgun, but I want to talk to CK.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that right now you guys are going into battle unless you are letting all three of these animals attack.
No, we don't want to let them get that close.
Okay, so then let's roll initiative for everyone. So that's the 1d8 plus your dex. You have a dex modifier.
I got a 6.
Oh, okay.
Let's go. I got an 8.
Hmm.
Oh no. I hate rolling initiative so much.
And then Raiko, go ahead and roll for CK.
2 plus something. I don't know what her dex is. Give me a second.
I don't believe she has a modifier.
All right, then it's just 2.
So then we have Free, Raiko, the Beast, Sam. That's our order. Okay, so Avery, you are attacking. What are you doing?
Running up to the nearest one and ramming a sword through it.
Yeah, so let's see if you can hit this creature.
I got a 16.
That is a hit. Okay. I'll say there's only 3, and they are all coming toward you all kind of equally. But I'll say that Avery, you are able to quickly go past Sam and Raiko and CK to meet up with one of the beasts that are coming towards you, and they take hit from your sword. What's your damage?
Why do I have the revolver listed but not the sword? I lost track of it. I'm gonna have to dig through the books.
Okay. When you find it, just roll your damage. While that's happening, Raiko's next.
Right, we'll turn to Sam real quick. Sam, can you find me a computer terminal or anything with navigational maps of the site, please? And thank you. CK, stay next to Sam. Don't leave him, please. And then I'll pull out my shotgun and prepare to fire at the wolves, or the creature.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your hit.
Let's find out. 11.
Okay. So you shoot, but it just misses as one of the animals, they kind of like shift after it hits the ground next to them, and they kind of growl at you. But as they look over to see that one of their pack, let's call them, has been slashed by Avery, they're actually going to switch targets and look at them. And that is going to be the beast's turn. They are going to try to attack Avery, the one that was going to attack Raiko, but got stopped by the bullet. So I'm going to see if hit. That was a 10.
Nope.
Okay. The first beast that stopped it essentially like leaps to try and grab you, but you are still wrestling with the one that you're slashing up, and it goes over you. The second one is going to try to go for Raiko as well.
Oh, and I found my damage.
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
I do 6 points of damage.
Okay. The one that you have slashed up is looking hurt. Raiko, does 17 hit?
Yes, it does.
All right. The creature that is going for you is going to try to pounce, but they are going to specifically try to grab your arm that is still holding out your pistol to kind of, rip your arm off, essentially. Let's see how that works. Okay, you take 3 points of damage.
Fair enough.
Back over to Sam.
Well, I think Raiko gave me the instruction to look for computer terminals, so I'm going to do that.
Okay, You can just probably, well, I'll say that the hallway that you're in is essentially like completely empty. So unless you are trying to like dig into the floor or the wall to find like wires or something that you can like hack, there's like nothing, like this whole place is very clean. You can also try to get through the glass where Dr. Curry ran to find a terminal further down the hallway. Those are kind of your options.
Yeah, it looks like you're gonna have to be running pretty far to find one.
Are you gonna, so what are you trying to do? Get through the glass? Get through the wall?
The glass seems easier to get through.
Okay. If you're trying to investigate the glass, you can, hmm, yeah, go ahead and roll your intelligence. It's gonna be low since I think you have hacker, right?
Yeah, I have hacker.
Okay, so essentially, you know that she opened the glass with some sort of a terminal. It's just that it's not, you can't see it. So you're essentially investigating the glass to see if you can find it. So that's going to be your intelligence. Let's make the DC 4.
God, 3. Are you?
So close. Yeah, you can tell that the terminal is like on the wall. You can even kind of remember like where she kind of put her card up to the wall. You know it's like somewhere that has to be where you would normally have a kiosk. It's just that there's no indication on the wall or on the glass where it could possibly be. You do know though that this is regular glass. Like their defense system is not the glass. So the glass is breakable, blow upable, and you can most likely with some time even maybe like shimmy the parts like apart from each other, like where the glass meets in the middle, so you know you can get past the glass with like brute force. However, it's going to take you a little bit longer to try to hack through it.
Yeah, I don't have much time, or my teammates are under the pressure of these beasts. I think I'm just gonna have to brute force smash it.
Okay, so that was your action, but I think with that, are you wanting to communicate that or just on your next turn just try to brute force it?
I mean, I suppose for now I'll communicate it, but if they don't smash the glass before my next turn, I'm gonna have to do it myself.
Okay. You essentially communicate that you weren't able to like hack or find the terminal to open up the glass, but the glass can be easily broken. You guys just need to get on that. After that, after Sam is CK. I think what CK is actually going to do is she's actually going to follow Sam because I believe you told her to stick with Sam. And she is going to actually help you, Sam, since she actually has Tinker. She's going to try to help you find this device. So go ahead and re-roll. DC's still going to be, what did I say, 4?
That's better.
Excellent. As you were kind of calling back to everyone and, frustrated that you weren't able to find the device, you notice CK just kind of walk up to the side of the wall, and she simply just puts her little hand up in a spot and touches it. And the wall essentially, like the little tile, I guess, essentially like begins to crack and break and falls apart under her hand, almost as if she had just broken it just by touching it. And you see a terminal underneath, so you'll be able to hack it on your next turn.
I think I owe CK like a head pad or something for that.
She takes the pat and looks up at you and smiles. We are back up with Avery.
I'ma slash it again.
Okay, go ahead.
I got a 17.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
Well, you know, it helps if you actually give the bot the roll command and not just type dice at it. 8 points.
You flash it one more time, or however you'd want to do it, but essentially it stops moving after this last attack and it is now lying prone on the ground. Raiko, that is you.
All right. I will shoot a thought over to CK and just say, could you kindly help Sam find your mother, please? Thank you. And then I'll pull the trigger on the shotgun and try and blast the creature from my arm.
Okay, you're going for the one close who just you're going for the one that's on you. Okay, go ahead and make your roll.
Yes. And hope it hits. That's a 14.
That hits.
Excellent. That is good damage. Let's see. I believe it's 3d4 because it's a shotgun. 3, 2, 2. That's 7. 7 damage.
All right, you blast this beast and it kind of flips backwards, but as it kind of wails, it sort of shakes its head, and you can see that it's going to try to attack you. So it's still up and standing, but bleeding heavily.
All right. Well, that's good.
That is now the beast's turn, and the one that's directly in front of you that you just kind of shot is going to lunge for you.
Don't do that.
I'm assuming 8 doesn't hit.
8 does not hit.
Yeah, you shot it in a pretty unfortunate place, and it can't run very well, and so it kind of tries to lunge at you, but it yelps and kind of backs away from you, realizing it's more hurt than it thought it was. The second beast is down that, or the first beast is down that Avery hit, but there is a second one that is fully up, and they are going to, I'm going to say they're going to go for Avery since Avery just hit one, and that one is down right now. Oh my gosh. A 1? Okay, that's so bad. I will allow Avery to essentially react as this other beast comes flying towards you and tries to tackle.
I'm just gonna point the sword at it and let it do the work.
Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna roll to the one is really bad, but I'm gonna roll to see if it's like quick enough in intelligence wise to like try to stop itself. Let's see. It is not. Okay, so go ahead and roll damage as this creature bolts towards you, is mid-air, and you just whip around, put your sword up, and it is impaled.
6 damage.
It yelps as your sword goes through like its side, but it takes the sword from you as it falls because it's pretty heavy. So now you don't have your sword in your hand, it is stuck in its side. But it is bleeding, but still up. And those are the beasts. We come back to Sam.
Back in time.
All right. This seems like a pretty simple piece of machinery, except that it requires a key card. So I think with CK's help, which she will help you, and since she's right after you, we can just put you guys together. You should be able to figure out how to basically finesse the system. What do you do for hacking? Do you roll?
Okay, when attempting to hack a database or computerized system, roll 3d6 and drop the lowest die.
Okay, that should be after you drop. The lowest one should be a 9.
Okay. And then go ahead and roll again as CK helps you. She's essentially going to kind of, I guess maybe, let's see what she would do. I'm going to say CK takes out a little tiny like box cutter and cuts her hand and actually pours some of her blood into the circuitry. And you can see her blood actually form around the wires as if it's being controlled by her mind. And that's how she's helped.
So with the second roll, it's a 10.
All right. The circuitry kind of spurts, and the doors of this huge glass wall begins to.
CK, doesn't that really hurt?
She kind of looks at you, and as she's looking at you and putting her little knife away, her hand heals. And then she's gonna bolt past you through the doors.
Hey, wait for me.
Perfect. Back to Avery.
I'm just gonna pull out my trusty old thermal knife and go to work.
That's just certain. Okay. Go ahead and roll a hit.
I knew the sword would betray me. Good old thermal knife. I never should have left you. 15. 2 damage.
Hits. Okay. It's a small knife. You are able to, give this creature a jab, and it understands that it's, in mortar terror, but it doesn't do enough damage for it to dissuade it from trying to bite your hand off the next time it kind of comes towards it for a jab. So now we are at Ryko.
Yes, Raiko will fully just shotgun blast this thing again. And I'm going to, because it's a combat shotgun, I get to dump more rounds into it. So I lose some ammo, but gain, I believe it's a +2 to hitting it.
Oh, okay.
Burst mode, yeah. Fire 3 rounds for a +2 bonus to hit and damage against the target.
All right. Go ahead and roll to see if you hit.
I want to hit it. +2, so 14.
That hits.
And then 7 + 2, so 9 damage.
Oh, yes. So what are you doing? So it's a shotgun, so you're just blasting it?
Yes.
Okay.
I put it right next to the neck or the nape and pull the trigger.
Okay. You pull the trigger, the last yelp, comes from this animal, and it is down completely still, bleeding. And now it is the beast's turn, which is only one at this point, the one that Avery is fighting. I wonder if they would run. I think, let's see if they're smart enough to understand they are outnumbered. So I'm going to roll intelligence.
Oh no, don't run. That's no fun. Avery was promised blood.
As Avery, gives the creature that stab and pulls their hand back, they are going to attempt to grapple you again and rip your hand off. Let's read. I'm assuming an 11 doesn't.
It does not hit.
Okay. It snaps at you, but I think at this point it's realizing that it's badly injured, and the other two that were supposed to be taking care of the other ones are down on the ground. It's smelling a lot of blood, so it's going to start slowly kind of back away, growling. And we are back at Sam and CK. CK has taken her little feet as far as she could go, and she is booking it. She is following the steps of Dr. Curry, and she is already around the corner as you follow her. Sam, what are you doing?
Yeah, I am wasting no time following CK. I am not letting her out of my sights again.
Okay. Yeah, she rounds the corner and runs down a smaller corridor where there is a door. And the door is open, left by Dr. Curry as she ran through it. And she runs through that door. You follow her quickly behind, and you both come into this kind of like, I would say it's like a big bubble, like a big metal bubble, which is probably why the top of this structure is rounded. But it is essentially what you could only describe as either a garden or like a hatchery of a garden. There are kind of really big planter beds, but they're made of metal. And then on the planter beds, there are huge capsules, and the capsules are encased in these vines that look like huge bulbous plants. It was very interesting. There's also like a thin mist on all of the plants, as there is some sort of water or some sort of like sprays that are coming down from the ceiling. You see Dr. Curry at the end of this little bubble room on the other side of the room, and she's standing next to a woman who looks very similar to CK. In fact, they look almost identical, except for she is obviously in her, mid 40s. And they're both wearing lab coats, and they both look over at you, and CK kind of stands in the middle of the room, kind of staring at both of them. And you see something you've never seen before as you have met this little girl. Her hands begin to curl into balls. As you can see, she's become quite angry. And we will go back to Avery, and we are out of combat. And so Avery and Ryko, you two are over the bodies of these beasts. The door is open, and Sam and CK are nowhere in the hallway.
Did that schmucker run off with my sword?
No, he's still in.
I'm getting my sword back.
Okay.
I paid good money for that sword.
All right. Avery gets his sword back. Ryko, what are you doing?
Ryko will attempt to clean off some of the blood off of his arms and legs and then give up when he realizes it's all stained. And then turn to the open doorway, see if he can find Sam and DK.
Mm-hmm. The glass door is completely open. However, you have to walk down the hallway and then take a left where Dr. Curry went, so you guys can make your way in that direction after Avery retrieves his sword.
Got your sword back, Avery?
Yes.
Good. Come along then. Let's see where Sam ran off to.
As you speak of Sam, and you guys are making your way down the hallway, turning the corner, making your way down the shorter hallway, Sam and CK are inside of this room. Sam, you see CK in the middle of the room because she ran up ahead of you, while you are at kind of like the beginning of the room, so you're like right where the doorway is. And you can see the woman who looks very much like CK, but a full adult, and Dr. Curry. They seem to have been talking to one another, and then as they saw you both kind of walk in, they turned to both of you. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine Sam would notice that little description of what's going on with CK the last time he cut to us, and that would spike Sam's stress all the way back to where it was when we started this. Like, CK, no, wait, what's happening to you? Who are they?
Okay. As you are kind of stressing out again, and you see the woman who looks very much like CK kind of turns and begins to walk towards both of you. She is wearing a lab coat, but she actually takes the lab coat off as she speaks to you like softly and kindly to try and calm you down. Under her lab coat, you see that she is wearing a very long, almost like a unwrapped robe. So it's like a robe that is connected in the front with like beautiful pearl buttons, and it goes all the way down to the floor. You can tell that these are old Tarian robes. They are very well known. And she sort of just starts to walk towards both you and CK. Calm yourself. It's all right. Everything's okay.
Okay. What do you mean? She's turning gray? She lost her hands? How is this okay?
I'm not sure how you got here, but don't worry. The child is complex. I wouldn't worry. I will deal with it. And at this point, she is right in front of CK. She's been walking towards. And we'll cut back to Avery and Ryko coming into the room. And so what you guys see is you see Dr. Curry on the other side of the room. You can kind of see that she is rummaging around, like she's trying to pack things essentially. From your vantage point, you can see that Sam is starting to lose it again. He's kind of freaking out as this random woman who clearly is wearing old Tarian robes, begins to walk towards CK, and CK is in the middle of the room, and Sam is just a small amount behind her. And you guys are at the entrance, so you guys are the furthest away. And so that's what you guys see as you enter the room.
Yeah, just a reminder, CK is looking a little different with being all gray and ball hands.
She's a bit upset, yes. So, Avery and Raiko, what are your responses?
Does there look like there's another exit to this room?
From where you guys are, since you're at the front, you both also see these strange eggs in these beds. You would need to get at least like in the middle of the room to get a real good scope, because it's kind of full. Like, it's full of all of these strange metal beds, and then the plant pods are like large, so your view is obstructed.
Well, then I'm coming in.
All right, everyone's in the room.
I think as Raiko enters the room, I assume I clock the whole situation. I will rack my shotgun loudly, and then directing to the lady approaching CK, "Your daughter got me fired. I'd like to know why."
The woman who is walking towards CK, at this point, she is at CK, and she actually sets her hand like kind of on CK's head and shoulder, and CK just kind of stands there, and she looks up at you, Raiko, and she goes, "Daughter, I see." She looks at all of you. You all are mistaken. There's some confusion here. This child may look like a child, but she is nothing but flesh and sentient. She was not born. She was created.
Raiko will smile. "Do I look like I care, woman?" And fire a shotgun at whatever looks really important nearby.
Okay.
Yeah, and Sam would probably officially hit the point where he would just curl up his fist, getting ready to punch this woman in the mouth.
Okay. Avery, what are you doing as you listen to this?
I think I'm just watching the show, twirling my knife.
I will also remind everyone that Dr. Curry, the woman who let you all in, is in the back of the room doing something that y'all can't really see that well. Like, she's shuffling around.
Oh, I'm a run for her then.
Okay. So, this is what sounds like it's happening. Sam is closest to CK, practically right behind her, but not close enough to touch her. The mysterious woman in old Tarian clothes is touching CK. Dr. Curry is at the back of the room, shuffling around, doing some stuff. You guys can't really see that well. Raiko shoots something close that he thinks is important. I am going to say that you're shooting one of the pods, because that's the only thing in here. And Sam is getting ready for a fight, since he's the closest to this woman. So, everyone roll initiative again. We're back into initiative. And I'll say that, Sam, you can roll twice and take the highest.
What do we roll for initiative again?
1d8 plus your dex modifier, if you have one.
I do. 2.
No.
Wow.
Okay, so did everybody roll? What do we got?
I got a 7.
I rolled a 2.
Want me to roll twice? The highest is a 5.
Okay. So the first thing that happens as you all kind of pop off here is Dr. Curry in the background is going to essentially like bolt. You guys hear the slamming of a door, and it opens, a metal door way in the back, and you can hear her just running for her life. Wendy, the woman who's in front of CK, doesn't move, but we are at the top of the initiative is CK and Avery. So we'll let Avery go first, since you were already moving. Avery, you see her run out of this door. So I'll say that you can catch up to her. So what do you want to do when you see her running?
Blitz him.
All right, go ahead and roll.
How is Avery so fast in this situation?
Because I'm goaded with the sauce. This is not an Avery thing. This is a me being good at dice. Vice dice. 7. If I catch up to her, I'm gonna throw my knife at her leg. We ain't playing these games no more. Throw a different thing, or would throw be stab again? Looks like stab to me.
I think isn't throwing. I don't know if throwing a weapon is ranged. I'm assuming it's.
I don't see throw as a different option, but I'ma just roll a d20 and call that good, because I think I'll survive without the +1.
Okay.
I was wrong.
Well, you throw your dagger and it flies past her, and it does kind of like, scare her, and she sort of turns around to see you, and she is going to kind of messily try to pull. She has this huge bag with her that's like a big black bag that she's kind of struggling to run with. But as she like sees that someone's behind her, she's going to try and go into her bag and pull out something. But that's just what she's doing as she turns around. Next in the initiative order is actually CK. CK is standing in front of this woman, and she is again being very quiet and not moving, and her hands are closed as she seems to be angry. But she's not even looking up at this woman. She's just simply standing there in front of her, letting her touch her. And you can kind of hear in her mind, because she's almost like reverberating her thoughts to everyone. And this is most likely because she's having a hard time actually controlling her telepathic powers as she's getting angry. You all kind of hear her say, "Mother." And the woman looks down at her, and she actually like gets down on her knee to get eye to eye with her. And you all hear her say, "Poor thing. You don't really remember, but my name is Wendy. You don't have a mother, sweetheart. You're a creation. You're just goo in tubes and whatnot. Do you understand?" She's kind of saying that very condescendingly to CK directly in her face. And as she says this, CK is going to lunge and bite her nose off. So let's see if she hits. Okay. Yeah. So you guys see CK lose it. So she basically like lunges for her, trying to like claw at this woman's face, trying to bite her, but she's a grown woman, so she's able to kind of like push her away and try to keep her off of her. But she's getting some good scratches in there, and the woman is kind of like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" Trying to like stop her. While all of that is happening, we are going to cut to Sam, who's next in the initiative. Okay, go ahead and roll.
I got a 5.
Okay. It's a little difficult to... Oh, wait. That's not to hit. You should roll the 1d20. A 1d... Yeah, a 1d20.
Yeah. I'm not gonna hesitate. I am going to punch this woman real bad.
Okay. So I'm gonna say CK is like all over this woman. Remember, this woman knelt, so she's on her knees, so that she could have been face to face with her. And CK has hopped on this woman and like is trying to destroy her with her little hands.
Well done,
So
CK.
it's you can't even get you can't get in there. Essentially, you would have to like pull CK off to even get to the woman who's screaming and trying to push this little girl off of her.
How can I fail? She's right there.
So Wendy and Raiko, so you all know that this woman's name is Wendy now. You guys actually have the same initiative order. Now, originally, Raiko, you were going to just shoot something in the near area and harm that. I'm going to let that just be a free action that happened before we went into initiative. So, and I'm also going to say that whatever the thing you hit, you just do kind of like automatic damage. So the first thing you see, Raiko, when you did that kind of warning shot is that you exploded this huge plant-like, pod, and it literally explodes. And it's not a complete body, but it is pieces of a body that you believe was forming inside of this pod that slides out onto the floor.
If anyone was paying attention to Raiko, it would be a look of kind of shock and horror for a moment before he turns back to the fiasco going on. And he begins to approach very furiously. Don't think he gets involved just yet, but he wants to read CK, like, what are her intentions? Like, is this about to be very bloody murder? And the woman, what she wants to do. If I could do that actually more than CK.
Okay. Is that how you want to use your action?
I would like to, yeah. Yes. I want to approach and then read her mind or see what she's thinking right now.
Okay. She is screaming in her mind because she's being attacked by a little girl. So you hear a lot of, motherfucker, God damn it, get off me. You hear a lot of that in her mind and out loud because that's just what's happening in this immediate moment. However, at some point, you just kind of see her, because now you've used your action, so now it's her turn. Wendy kind of just stands up, essentially. And as she stands up, she's going to try and grab CK to, like, pick her up so that she can probably leave with her, essentially. So I'm essentially just going to roll her strength to see if she can do that. CK is not very heavy, child. Okay, she's able to pick her up, but she's not able to, but she's, squirming because she obviously doesn't want to be picked up and she's trying to murder this woman. So she's just trying to squirm out of her, but she's trying to pick her up and she's having a hard time. So she's just going to try and drag her towards the other door where you all kind of heard the door open that Avery's at. And then that kind of comes back up to the top of the round, which is CK. So CK is wriggling. She's trying to essentially harm this woman, and she's gonna again go for a bite. But I think this time she understands that she, strength-wise, is a little too weak. So she is actually going to take out her box cutter and just go for the softest part she can see to stab this woman in the eye.
The Pendle special.
Let's see if she can get a hit. CK. Close. Yeah, so now she is brandishing this box cutter and she is just wildly swinging. She doesn't get the eye, but she's cutting this woman up, and so she's making some dents, but she is not, able to really get the landing blow she really wants to. And so she's still doing that and fighting. Back to Avery in the hallway. What are you doing?
I'm running at this woman and trying to prevent her from leaving.
Okay, I'll say this is a short corridor. She has stopped to turn around to try to take something out of her bag. What do you want to do?
Well, I already threw my knife at her, so that's spent. So I'm just going to take the sword and go for the legs.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
We play for keeps in this house. Now, this is definitely stab. 9. Ooh.
You dab for her, but she sort of shimmies out of the way. She does drop her bag because she's really flustered, and you can kind of see things rolling out of it because she hadn't been able to close it. She just stuffed stuff in there, and they're just these green tubes and some of these some vials and some things. And so instead of trying to get what she was trying to get out, she's trying to now put all that stuff back in the bag so that she can save it, and try to get away from you. We are back to Sam.
Actually, because of shocking assault, she still takes 2 damage.
Oh, okay. Damn it. Well, I mean, that means that, okay, so then because she took damage, she falls to the ground, actually, and hurt a little bit. She's still able to try to gather her stuff, but she's looking rough. She's only level 1, so she doesn't have that many. Okay, so that is Avery. We're back at Sam.
I think I'll try to walk behind her and choke her.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
He's 9.
You aren't able to get a hold of her. She's trying to keep away
Womp
from.
womp.
The threshold. What is the threshold? Of
She's
this
trying.
woman?
She doesn't have a high threshold. It's just your hits are lower than her AC. So yeah, so she's just trying to keep away from you. And while she tries to drag CK, it is now Riko's
Oh my god! I am useless. This is tough.
turn.
How close is Raiko at this moment?
I think since last time you were walking up, you're with Sam.
Okay. Raiko will drop the shotgun and pull out his pistol, and you can see, if anyone paid attention, the face he dons whenever the Vice crew are about to perform an execution, and he's decided that he needs to take on the role this time. And so he will attempt to just hit her in the head with the butt of the pistol to start with.
Okay, go ahead and roll to attack or to.
Let's find out. 2.
I leave for 2 seconds.
I will say that CK will kind of help you in this moment.
Excellent.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll again.
We're gonna be here all night, folks.
Need all the help I can get, apparently. 15.
You hit.
Excellent.
We're gonna be here half the night, folks.
Better than the whole.
She doesn't have many hit points, but she does have like a decent amount of hit points. So I will say that unless you like roll crazy damage, I think you would just knock her out.
That's more. I would rather daze her and leave her alive, but hurt her, incapacitate.
Yeah, okay. We'll just say that happens because she's been banged up already, and I would assume that CK's been taking a little bit of damage off of her. So yeah, you hit her and she falls to the ground. CK is still on her though, and she still has the knife in her hand. And it is back at the top of the initiative since Wendy is down, so she doesn't have anything to do. And I'm gonna say that we're not out of initiative because Avery is still technically in combat with Dr. Curry. But I will say that because we're at the top of the initiative again, CK is just going to begin stabbing this woman. And so if you don't get her off of her, she's not going to be unconscious anymore. So
Honestly, I think Raiko will be the only person who would want her to stop stabbing her.
Raiko would try and get her off.
okay. I will say that's what's
But very cool.
I'll say that's what's happening as we go back to Avery. Avery, Dr. Curry is on the ground and she is gathering her stuff. I think at this point she is going to kind of give up, realizing that she's now injured, and she's just going to kind of put her hands up again. Like, wait. Okay. I'm done. I don't. You can have the samples. I don't know what you want.
We are going to go back to the other room where the thinking people are, and we are going to sit nicely and wait and not run like an idiot. Please.
You escort Dr. Curry back to the room where she sees that Wendy has been knocked out and stabbed several times with with a child's fury. CK is she has calmed a bit, but she is, I'm gonna say that she's kind of like standing right in front of you, Raiko, and you kind of have just one hand on her shoulder just to be like, okay, I think we're good.
Though,
But
to be
probably
fair,
if you took your
to be fair, given how Sam tried and failed so much to lend his anger on this woman, he would probably just try to give her a few kicks in the head before leaving her alone.
okay. Then Avery and
Raiko will attempt to stop Sam as well.
Yay!
Avery, you come back. Avery, you come back to an interesting scene with Raiko trying to stop Sam from kicking this unconscious woman in the head, and CK standing over this woman with a bloody box cutter. So, you are all in this area that you can kind of tell based on the context clues that it is some sort of a nursery, some sort of a plant nursery, you assume. Dr. Curry is standing there, and she essentially explains a couple of things without we really having to go through the RP of it. But essentially, you can kind of assume this is called the hatchery. Dr. Curry has been running it for several years. CK was indeed created here, and she was created here along with many other failed experiments as a clone of this woman whose name is Wendy. And all of this was under the Old Tarian. It was specifically so that they could kind of use the algorithm to essentially shorten lives of like certain people that wouldn't be missed so that they could harvest their organs and cells create. And that's what she kind of that's what she kind of discloses to you all as she sits there kind of distraught, not really knowing what to do. At this moment, you are all still blacklisted. There are still people who, if they find you, they will, carry out the orders of your previous employer, V.I.C.E. You are surrounded by strange, technology, ancient technology, alien technology that's been used to create these children, clones of some kind. And you have in your possession a member of the Old Tarian and a person who works at this lab who is essentially telling you everything. So we are going to say that is the end of the adventure, but we're going to do just a short epilogue of what you guys do immediately after you learn all this information and you are able to escape this lab later. So let's start with Avery.
I'm just following Raiko. Like, I don't know. This is all above my pay grade. I was told I'd get to fight and kill people, and at least I got a good fight out of it. So,
Okay. Raiko.
I believe Raiko, after analyzing all the positions, would, let's see, I think he would use his influence, as well as the help, to hunt down any individual member of the Old Tarian he could find to gather any information he could before performing his duties as a vice executioner. So whichever member of the vice crew who works with him and any civilians who want to help him out on that, he'd work with.
And Sam.
I would imagine after they go back on wherever they need to sleep, we would get a shot of him looking at CK and going with a little hug and saying that Sam never really got his whole shopping gig back onto a good state that it used to be, but it is suggested that him and CK sort of would have figured out something to have a little bit of a new life.
Very nice. And I'll say, yeah, CK with her newfound family, so to speak, as you all leave this place, she burns it to the ground and asks you all to keep her mother in a sort of a prison where she can kind of go visit her once in a while. You guys don't let her go inside because you're pretty sure she will just probably kill her. So, but she kind of likes having her around. Also, she's not a bad hostage to have, as you guys kind of have a lot of heat on you from many different factions. Having someone from the Old Tarian as your hostage is keeping at bay everyone that would quickly descend upon you. And we will call that the end of our adventure. and the end of, what did you guys call it? Did you guys give yourselves a name? This V.I.C.E crew?
Team Broken Bones.
Whatever the people call us, I don't care.
Well, we'll end there, and whatever the people are saying as they ring out your legendary tale, and that is going to be the end of our campaign. Thank you all for listening to the Aging Journey podcast. We hope you are enjoying the campaign. Don't forget, you can listen to our podcast on our podcast website, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Lists will be in the description below. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. You can support the podcast on Patreon or join our Discord. Enjoy the journey. 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 Enjoy the journey.